This program is for educational purposes only. Before starting any health or exercise-related program, consult your physician. Welcome to Your Body for God with Dr. Tony Ganem. Dr. Tony is the clinical director of the Body Pro Wellness Center in Santa Ana, California. He believes that maximizing your health is critical in order to function at your best for yourself, your family, and most importantly for God, because the Bible tells us that we were created by Him and for Him. Time to maximize your health. Here's your host, Dr. Tony Ganem.
I hope you're having a great day out there. This is Dr. Tony Ganem bringing you Your Body for God, sponsored by the Body Pro Wellness Center in Orange County, California. It is my honor to be with you on a weekly basis to talk about how amazing God made your body. I mean, when you consider the complexities of the body, the fact that it can do trillions of things at the same time in trillions of cells, and that God's monitoring your body and my body and billions of other people at the same time while He's rotating all the solar system and then watching all the stars and making sure nothing collides and taking care of animals and bacteria. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Then why do people think that the body's a liability? Something that's going to vanish very fast because they can't take care of it and it's bound to go wrong? And I try to teach people to take care of it like an investment, not a liability. Something that you can do great things with. In fact, the blood of Jesus was invested so that you could work for God, using the talents and the energy and your ability to function optimally for Him. That's why this show is called Your Body for God. And I try to teach people to renew their mind. Don't conform to the ways of this world like it says in Romans, but instead be transformed by God and understand how amazing He made your body and renew the way you think constantly, thinking about it from a godly perspective instead of a worldly perspective, investing or stewarding over this amazing body and getting the opportunity to see how amazing God's creation really is. You are God's greatest creation, and you are made in His image. And when you're functioning really well, you are a wonder. And when you're not functioning really well, you're left to wonder. Why? Well, the human body is really complex. If you haven't noticed, only PhDs and doctors really have any idea how the body works, and they learn things every single day. The layman or woman hopes to understand the body and hopes to get educated by their doctors, but in the healthcare system that we currently have with limited pay and limited time, most doctors are not doing the educating. And unfortunately, that leaves you to get educated by commercials from drug companies and other people who want to tell you that, for instance, milk does a body good and many other things. You need to become an expert in your body. That's what this ministry is about. I hope you are listening closely every single day. I want to educate you. The word doctor actually comes from the Greek word dokere, which means teacher, and I want to teach you. That's my job. That's my calling. That's why I do this show. And that's why I put on free seminars to teach people about their body. They're not little seminars. They're free 3-hour seminars to teach you how amazing the body is. And I invite you to always call 888-300-1888 to learn more, to schedule for a seminar, or to go to bodypro.com to schedule for one of these seminars. Today we're going to talk about when the body doesn't work well, when every cell can't make energy. What does that turn into? Well, you have 100 trillion cells in the body, and I'd like you to think of each of these cells in your body as an independent factory. And when all these factories are producing energy, you feel amazingly energetic. And when all of these cells are not producing energy properly, you, the collection of 100 trillion cells not functioning correctly, are going to feel not energetic and maybe feel like you have chronic fatigue, or maybe feel like you can't get rid of pain and you have fibromyalgia, or you're just going to feel plain tired. Do you know anyone who feels like this? 100 trillion cells that have the capability of making energy or not making energy is a lot of leverage. If you can make the factories of your cells work amazingly, you can feel that. And if you don't make them work amazingly, you can feel that. And so I want to teach you how to make sure you're not robbing yourself of metabolic energy. As mentioned last week, your body uses nutrients. Nutrients are really important, and I want to teach you a little bit more about that today. Specifically, I'm going to show you that there are things that you can do in life that rob you of nutrients. But I want you to consider day 6. In the Garden of Eden, God makes Adam out of the dirt. And then he puts in him the breath of God's life, which is unbelievable. But why did he make him out of the dirt? Well, if you go to any chemistry book, you'll notice that there's a table of elements, that the earth has lots of elements, also known as minerals, that are in the soil, and these minerals are going to do amazing things that make Adam work. Then, of course, Eve is made from Adam, so she's made the exact same way. And then God says, shortly after, I've given you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the earth, and for you it is food. And when you look back at that, that just makes sense, because plants grow from the same mineral-rich soil that is pulling water and minerals, and the plants are using their metabolism to actually convert some of that stuff and make vitamins, otherwise known as vital amines, that when man eats, the plant gets the nutrients, the vital amines, the vitamins, the minerals, the water that was coming from the soil, and these are the very things that Adam and Eve were made from, so it's the right stuff. And you look at any biochemistry book and you understand that what makes your body work are nutrients. You will never get the body to work if you don't put nutrients in the body. And as I told many patients this week, a healthy diet isn't just one where you remove bad things. A healthy diet cannot be healthy if you're not adding great things. You cannot expect the body to function well if you're not adding amazing things that God created so that your body could function well, and He defined what it is that we needed. He's the one that defined food. Today, we define foods by their calorie content, their fat content, their carbohydrate content. We hardly define food by its nutrient content. And man makes food, processes food, but man-made food does not have what God made. And man-made food does not work for the body like God-made food. And then you say, but we have drugs. But drugs don't provide nutrients. Drugs alter your chemistry to cause something to happen by leveraging your nutrients. But drugs don't add nutrients. Please don't be mistaken. And then science says, well, but these vital amines, they are somewhat necessary, but we know better. Folks, it's foundational. It's chemistry and biochemistry. You know better. Science is not always valid. The Bible is the one that's valid. Science doesn't believe that you will have a new body one day. Science doesn't believe that you're a new creation. And science at one time didn't believe things like that the earth was actually spherical. They thought it was flat. And they thought the entire universe revolved around the earth. And they're learning things every day. And one day, every knee will bow and understand the truth. Okay, when we come back from break, I'm going to delve into your metabolism a little bit more. I'm going to show you that some things that you're doing, some things that are happening to you are mugging you of energy. Hold on tight. I'll be right back.
Coming up next, more with Dr. Tony Ganem here on Your Body for God. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Dr. Tony Ganem from the Body Pro Wellness Center. God's created an amazing body and you're designed to thrive. I believe that if every cell in your body were thriving, they'd have to use fat like crazy to thrive like that. And I have hundreds of patients who live this way, burning fat and thriving. Would you like to be full of energy and burning fat at the same time? Well, I'd like to invite you to our free seminar titled Your Body for God. We'll talk about weight loss, the thyroid, metabolism, cholesterol, blood sugar, hormones, sleep, and more. We're next to Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa. It's a complete health and wellness seminar. It's God-honoring and it's free, but seating is limited. So register now at bodypro.com. or call 888-300-1888. If you've been looking for a health solution with godly principles and incredible results, then call 888-300-1888 or simply register at bodypro.com. BodyPro. Honor God, find the cause, and be blessed.
Welcome back to Your Body for God. Once again, here's Dr. Tony Ganem.
All right, welcome back. This is Dr. Tony Ganem from the Body Pro Wellness Center, Your Body for God Radio. It's my pleasure to continue this conversation about energy and nutrients. Every cell in your body is making energy using fuels that you eat or fuels on your body called fat, and turning them into energy by using water and nutrients and oxygen that were provided by God in a process that makes energy. This is called metabolism. When your body converts fuels to energy, that's called metabolism. And your body uses nutrients to make this happen. Now, just in case you didn't hear us before the break, and by the way, you can always listen to these archived at bodypro.com. You have 100 trillion cells that are making energy, and if they're all working right, metabolizing fuels into energy, you will be an energetic, efficiently working machine. So I'm going to introduce a little bit of science, but don't get caught up on the words, understand the concepts. Your body has 3 metabolic steps. Sometimes it only uses step 1. Sometimes it uses step 2 and 3 together to make energy. Step 1 is called glycolysis. It's the part of your metabolism that inefficiently makes energy, metabolizes energy, out of sugar. You can't use fat using glycolysis. Metabolism 2 and 3, they're the ones that really make energy, but if you're going to make energy by way of these, you have to have oxygen and you have to have plenty of nutrients. And in metabolism 2 and 3, called the Krebs cycle and the electron transport chain, these you can use fat as a source of energy. Said another way, in metabolism 1, glycolysis, you can only burn sugar and you don't make much energy. You use lots of nutrients to make little energy. In metabolism 2 and 3 together, you make lots of energy, about 18 times more energy using some nutrients, and you can burn fat. Which one do you want to use? Of course, you want to be able to use these metabolisms amazingly to make a lot of energy, and you want the biggest bang for the buck. So you want to make sure you're not mugging yourself of nutrients that are necessary to be able to use the entire scope of the metabolism. A lot of your B vitamins are used right here. B1 escorts blood sugar into the cell so that it can be turned into energy. B6, B12, folic acid, these are B vitamins. They're used right here. A lot of people think that when you take B vitamins, you should feel energy. You don't get energy from B vitamins. You get B vitamins into your body so that you can make energy. And should you really feel a difference when you take B vitamins, then you really have a nutrient problem, because you shouldn't really feel a massive difference because you should be eating those vitamins in the first place. I'm not a big fan of supplementing. Only when it's really an amazing leverage on the body, when you see that a person's not absorbing something in a certain way, or when it can really change somebody's life drastically. But otherwise, I'm a big fan of eating your vitamins the way that God intended for you to do in the first place. Okay, so metabolism 2 and 3, they have some requirements, and if you don't have these requirements, you are going to be bound to metabolism number 1. Metabolism number 2 and 3 require oxygen. And if you are anemic and you can't carry oxygen very well, whether it's iron anemia because you have a digestive problem, or you have worms, parasites that are absorbing your iron, you have uterine fibroids, heavy periods, many other things block iron absorption, you lack stomach acid, whatever it is that's going on, maybe you're taking antacids or stomach blockers, and they block B1, B2, B3, B6, B12, folic acid, zinc, iron, magnesium, manganese, calcium, phosphorus, protein, selenium, vitamin D, and many other things. You can see that you can easily become depleted in these things, and all of a sudden, you're going to have to use metabolism number 1. Just sugar, low energy for the buck. Now consider that's happening in 100 trillion cells of your body, and you're going to feel pretty fatigued. And the thing is, since Metabolism 1 only uses, or only makes, I should say, 1/18 of the amount of energy as Metabolism 2 and 3 do, that means you're going to have to run Metabolism 1 over and over and over and over again, depleting nutrients very fast. That's not a good thing. So we want to make sure we have nutrients. Metabolisms 2 and 3, again called the Krebs cycle and electron transport chain, require oxygen, and you cannot be depleted in the things that cause your red blood cells to carry oxygen. Iron is one of them. B12 and folic acid are other ones. And then there are other types of anemia. Copper deficiency anemias, testosterone anemias, vitamin C anemias, and more. And there are ways to actually determine if this is happening in your body, and it's worth it. Because when 100 trillion cells feel great, you feel great. Some people have B12 anemias because they're vegan. They choose to eat a lifestyle that does not include meats. But you can also get B12 from spirulina, which is an algae, a sea algae, full of B12. And your bacteria in your gut make some B12. But if you take an antibiotic and you kill the bacteria of your gut, there goes that one. And of course, B12 requires stomach acid. So if you take Tums or Rolaids or any kind of acid blocker or antacid or even aspirin can deplete your ability to absorb B12. Antibiotics can deplete your ability to absorb B12, and some people actually have pernicious anemia or digestive disorders or have gene SNPs which cause them to not absorb B12 and folic acid. And some people have digestive disorders that cause them to bind iron in the gut. And some people are taking iron, but they take it with milk products, for instance, that will stop them from absorbing it. Or they take it with their thyroid medication that stops them from absorbing it. There's just so much to know. The following medication classifications block the absorption of B12 and iron. They're antacids or acid blockers, analgesics, pain relievers, antibiotics, antivirals, even the bone-making drugs, quote-unquote, the bisphosphonates, they can stop you from absorbing B12 and iron as well. Blood pressure medications can do this. Cholesterol agents can do this as well. Even medications for diabetes can stop you from absorbing B12, and you think, okay, I'm stopping my body from having high cholesterol, but what's happening is your body is not going to function. And let me just be a little bit more clear here. What we're saying is you may be stopping the body from making high cholesterol or, quote-unquote, taking care of your diabetes, but if you stop your body from being able to burn fat and you force the body to have to use sugar, aren't you causing your diabetes? Oh, there's a lot more. We're going to be back in just a moment. Hang on tight.
Coming up next, more with Dr. Tony Ganem here on Your Body for God. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Dr. Tony Ganem from the Body Pro Wellness Center. God's created an amazing body and you're designed to thrive. I believe that if every cell in your body were thriving, they'd have to use fat like crazy to thrive like that. And I have hundreds of patients who live this way, burning fat and thriving. Would you like to be full of energy and burning fat at the same time? Well, I'd like to invite you to our free seminar titled Your Body for God. We'll talk about weight loss, the thyroid, metabolism, cholesterol, blood sugar, hormones, sleep, and more. We're next to Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa. It's a complete health and wellness seminar. It's God-honoring and it's free, but seating is limited. So register now at bodypro.com or call 888-300-1888. If you've been looking for a health solution with godly principles and incredible results, then call 888-300-1888 or simply register at bodypro.com. Body Pro. Honor God, find the cause, and be blessed.
Welcome back to Your Body for God. Once again, here's Dr. Tony Ganem.
Welcome back. This is our third segment of Your Body for God Radio. If every cell in your body is making energy, you feel it, and you're a good steward of your body. you're taking care of your body the way God made you to take care of it in the first place, you can do great things for him. When every cell in your body is not working right, and every cell cannot work right if you're not putting nutrients in your body, then you feel it. And you feel horrible, and you have chronic fatigue. When 100 trillion cells don't have energy, that's called chronic fatigue. When 100 trillion cells can't get rid of inflammation, that's called fibromyalgia. When 100 trillion cells cannot metabolize properly, that's called metabolic syndrome, and that leads to things like diabetes. But when 100 trillion cells are working, wow. And I'm sure God smiles and says, go, keep going, you're serving me well. And that's what life is all about anyway, isn't it? Hearing, well done, good and faithful servant, or this is my beloved son or daughter in whom I'm incredibly well pleased. We talked about the Krebs cycle. It needs carrying of oxygen, it needs B vitamins, it needs lots of things, but there are things that can block the Krebs cycle that you have no idea about. I mean, things like cyanide, everybody knows that blocks the Krebs cycle and stops you from making energy, which is the definition of death. Actually, what it does is it blocks an enzyme called cis-aconitase from working, which basically puts a wrench in your Krebs cycle and stops you from making energy in there. That's not good. But there are other things that block cis-aconitase and put a wrench in your metabolism. For instance, mercury does that. Do you know anybody with silver fillings? They can have a lot of mercury. Even a lot of the vaccines have thimerosal in them or residues of thimerosal in them that can cause excessive amounts of mercury in the body that can block your metabolism at cis-aconitase and also block what's called the electron transport chain. Very complex thing at the end of your metabolism that if you cannot use metabolisms 2 and 3, you're bound to use metabolism 1, which means you make little energy using lots of nutrients. Not a good thing. Fluoride blocks cis-aconitase. Too much fluoride. How do we get fluoride? Well, our water supply is full of fluoride, so I don't drink tap water. And I don't use fluoridated toothpaste. I haven't since I was about 18 years old, and I have 0 cavities. Because the mineral fluoride, when used abundantly, is very toxic. And although there's fluoride in your teeth and in your bones, this isn't what stops you from having a bacterial infection called a cavity. But the way you protect your bones from a bacterial infection, like a cavity, is by making sure that your mouth is highly clean, that your body is not acidic, meaning that it's pretty neutral, meaning that you're eating good things, and that you have a body that's strong enough to kill bacterial infections by making sure the body has good things in it. And of course, use a good non-fluoride toothpaste, like Jason brand non-fluoride toothpaste. But I drink water that's not fluoridated because our entire water supply is fluoridated, and I want to make sure I go back to the premise. Fluoride blocks cis-aconitase. It's known as a metabolic blocker, and you'll know it as with excessive amounts of fluoride in my body, I will not be able to burn fat, I will not be able to make energy, I will deplete my nutrients very quickly, I will become dependent on sugar because my body will not be able to burn fat. And then there's the chemical called arachidonic acid, which is commonly known to be in red meat and in egg yolks. This chemical blocks your metabolism as well at cis-aconitase, and it blocks what's called complex 1, 2, and 3 of the electron transport chain, and basically means that you will not be able to burn fat. However, if you ate eggs from chickens who ate the seeds of grass and didn't eat these grains that we feed them today, and if you eat beef that comes from cows and animals, livestock that actually eat from the grass and not the grains that we're feeding them, then they produce anti-inflammatory fats inside their body, fats that don't cause arachidonic acid to go up and don't block your metabolism. And then if you have a blood sugar problem and you eat things like flaxseed, they actually turn into arachidonic acid. So you have to make sure that you don't have a blood sugar problem before you eat things like flaxseed, because you'll convert the good fats inside of flaxseed to arachidonic acid. And then finally, and I've talked about this in other weeks, If you take a cholesterol medication, you're going to be depleted in coenzyme Q10, which is going to block your electron transport chain from working, and suddenly you will not be able to make energy efficiently, and you're going to feel it in every cell of the body. No matter who you are, you really need to take some sort of coenzyme Q10 supplement. I know I'm not a big supplementer, but let me just say this. It is rare that I find somebody who seems to be doing well with their coenzyme Q10. Cholesterol medications rob you of coenzyme Q10. So do antacids, and so does aspirin, and so do beta blockers, and so many different things. You know, it's ironic because coenzyme Q10 has another name, ubiquinone or ubiquinol, which gets its name from the word ubiquitous, which means it comes from everything and it's easy to get. Well, it is in every cell of your body, and for that reason it's called ubiquinone or ubiquinol, which is the better version. But it is not easy to keep. Your body depletes this very quickly. Coenzyme Q10 is used up very quickly, and truthfully, when I do cellular analysis of people, meaning that if I actually do a test where they actually take one of your cells apart and look inside and see how much of each nutrient you have, coenzyme Q10 is repeatedly deficient. You know, and I just began the talk here. Truthfully, there are so many metabolism muggers that stop you from functioning right, but the type of people who could tell you about this stuff are PhDs, physiologists, for instance, who aren't doctors, so they don't really work with the public. But it's the doctor's job to teach you about these things, to take care of your health, and it is your stewardship to take care of your health. You are God's greatest investment. The proof of that is He spent more on you than He has spent on anybody else. You need to take care of your body and serve Him maximally. I want to teach you how to do that, and if you'd ever want any kind of coaching, or if you want to learn more, attend one of our free seminars, and you can learn more by just going to bodypro.com. I would love to serve you and help you thrive. In doing so, I serve God maximally, and I hear, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have done so much with what I have given you, and I am so well pleased in you." God bless you. Thrive. This is Dr. Tony Ganem from the Body Pro Wellness Center in Orange County, California. Serve God maximally.
You've been listening to Your Body for God with Dr. Tony Ganem, a doctor of chiropractic and a certified holistic nutritionist. To learn more about Dr. Tony's free nutritional health and weight loss seminars, go to bodypro.com. That's bodypro.com. The views and opinions expressed on today's program are those of Dr. Tony Ganem's and not meant to take the place of your doctor's advice. Your Body for God with Dr. Tony Ganem is sponsored by the Body Pro Wellness Center.